Picard, the mouth of the rift is temporarily secured. All attempts to assimilate Species 8472 have failed. Their continued hostilities against the Borg have been a significant annoyance. We must not let them proceed with their invasion into this galaxy. They must be destroyed. Together we will eliminate the alien threat. Picard, you and your forces will join the Borg in the assault on Species 8472.
At this time, we do not possess adequate resources for an offensive against Species 8472. We must gather both metal and dilithium before entering the rift, as fluidic space lacks these resources. Only then may we proceed beyond the maw and into fluidic space.
Understood. But be aware that our hold on this system is precarious. Species 8472 still poses a serious threat to the Alpha Quadrant. Act quickly and harvest the resources you need. Species 8472 will not stop until all life in this quadrant is eliminated.
Hey guys, and welcome to Star Trek Armada 2, and this is Mission 29. We have a pretty standard base defense map here. Species 8472 are going to come pouring through the rift, and our job is to basically hold them off and mine 20,000 dilithium and metal. Now, at the beginning of this mission you might think, well, I can just sit back and, well, no you can't. The first 20 minutes of this mission, I'm pretty certain that I'm going to make almost no profit as far as dilithium and metal go. However, what that will allow me to do is build up a big enough fleet to allow me to win the level, because you are going to need a fleet. You can't just sit on star bases in this level. It's not going to work.
Starship complete.
I'm going to be getting rid of a lot of my crap ships, so there go the spheres again. And I'm going to keep hold of the top tier ships, so that's cubes, sovereigns, galaxies, anything along those lines. The Akira class ships I am going to also disassemble as my collector freaks out, and I have no idea why it does that.
Awaiting new orders.
Looks like the computer has managed to establish my defences really badly, or at least my mining capacity really badly. I have 4 dilithium freighters on one moon and 3 on another, so... Sorry, 4 on one moon and 1 on another, so the computer obviously has no idea what the terminology balance means, and it decided to all in on one moon, which isn't a very clever idea. But anyway, I'm going to get a metal mining facility built here, and we're going to build up our Borg facilities. We don't have any yet. All the facilities in this sector are Federation, but we have no opportunity to build up the Federation research tree, and I wouldn't want to even if I could. And I'm going to build some scouts to have a look around the sector, because even though we've got pretty good view, the map's fairly large, and I would like to have a much better look at what's going on here. We are mining off 2 dilithium moons, and once this metal mining facility is done, we'll be mining off 2 metal mining facilities as well, so we will be getting pretty good income, but we're certainly going to be spending that income, at least in the beginning. Yeah, get these spheres out of here, and I'm still waiting for the Nexus to finish before I can build up my Borg forces, so I'm going to have my Ventures go and have a look around and see what they can find. What I'm essentially looking for is a Species 8472 base of some type, because the amount of Species 8472 ships that come through the rift isn't exactly enormous.
You got it.
But if there's a base nearby as well, combined with the Species 8472 ships coming through the rift, there's 2 things that can do. Number one is the obvious thing: they're going to have a lot more reinforcements. And second is the not so obvious thing that If they have a base, that means that their ships are all going to be loaded with their special weapons. And Species 8472 special weapons are exceedingly powerful and very effective against the Borg.
Decommission commencing.
I'm going to decommission my Akiras. They're not really going to do much. I'd rather have the metal and dilithium. And I'm going to send my Sabres and Defiants out scouting. They're basically heavy ventures as far as this mission goes. When you're taking on Species 8472, you want big ships, and the light ships just get torn apart really quickly. Okay, so the Borg Nexus is now complete, so I'm going to build the modification centre and the shipyard. Again, as I said, don't worry about spending money. There's plenty of it in the sector, so you're not really going to have much trouble in the way of spending your money, or at least running out of resources either. There's plenty of resources around. I'm going to build another Nexus. I really want to protect the Federation starbase, because if it's destroyed I lose the mission, and I also want to protect my shipyard because I don't want that to fall. The other thing I want to protect is this here, which is it's my dilithium refining operation here to the south, and it's currently undefended except by a couple of turrets, and that's really not a heavy enough defence. And with that Nexus built, I'm going to build another one over here to the east, and that's going to defend this dilithium mining facility as well. I am kind of going OTT on Nexuses here, but the fact of the matter is I'm going to need them if I'm going to support tactical cube production anyway, and they're better than turrets at holding off Species 8472 anyway. And I'm going to have the metal and resources to support it. You'll notice I also have an advanced assembly matrix here, which I've plopped down in the meantime. I do apologise for not getting that on camera. I think I overcut, basically. And I believe this is a technology assimilator that I'm getting here. Oh no, it's a recycler. I do apologise. I'm building the recycler mainly because, as you can see at the moment, I'm really overflowing with dilithium and I'm short on metal, mainly for the reason that I've been building star bases all over the place. Now the difficulty comes here, and this is the difficulty with static defences, is that Species 8472 ships are hardy enough to just warp straight through them and ignore them, and once they're in, they've got a lot of area to play around with inside the base, so you have to have I'm not going to call it a mobile force because cubes are incredibly slow, but at least they do move, so you do have at least some kind of force to be able to defend yourself with. Looks like one of their ships has managed to sneak through, but it's not going to last too long here. And before my hero ships get any sort of suicidal tendencies, I'm going to force them to sit by my starbase and not do anything.
Make it so.
Ooh, hi tactical cube. Yeah, you sit there. Yeah, it's a pretty decent force I've got here. It could do with a little bit of upgrading mind, but we can certainly deal with that very shortly. As you can see, we've got the crew coming in now, so that's great. And I haven't built the technology node yet because I'm an idiot. Actually, no, the reason I haven't built the technology node yet is because it's incredibly expensive on metal, and I was running very short on metal, so I've gone ahead and built it here. And that looks like my recycler's finished as well, so that's good. Should be able to do a little bit of transmuting now. Oh, here they come again. And you're going to have to put up with this for the vast majority of the mission. Species 8472 are just going to warp into the back of your base. And with my ships being as slow as they are at the moment, I'm at a pretty decided disadvantage. Fortunately, it looks like he's managed to find his way right in down the moor of my starbase. So, yep, that's the end of him. My shipyard took a little bit of damage, but it looks like it's okay.
We have entered a dangerous nebula. We are sustaining heavy damage from a nebula.
Don't know what that's about, but anyway.
Activate all alcoves.
Yeah, that's a technology assimilator, that's no use here. Transwarp gate is too expensive, and the simple fact is that the fact that this game has warp drive basically means that the transwarp gate isn't really that great, because you can move to wherever you're going quickly anyway, so it's not as if that you're going to be saving yourself a massive amount of time. And the transwarp gate is just such an expensive structure to build. I'm not too sure I'm a big fan of it. I suppose in the last level, jumping ahead of myself, a transwarp gate might be useful, but again, we're mining here because the final mission is limited in resources, so do you really want to be spending 2,000 metal, 2,000 on dilithium on something that might be good? It's like, I think I'd much rather just have standing forces, to tell you the truth. As you can see, bioships can take an absolute beating, and even with their shields down, they take quite a few shots even off a starbase to bring down. As you can see, my fleet's pretty much in constant motion at this point, trying to put out brush fires. The longer that I can hold the turret line, the longer that I can keep them away from the interior of my base, that means the more I can build up. Still waiting for this technology node to finish. There's no point building anything until it does, so I'm just going to have to use this initial fleet. And there we go, it's finished. I'm going to build some normal cubes here. Of course, I'd much prefer tactical cubes, but that's going to have to wait for a little while just because we are under a little bit of pressure here. And I'm going to research the Diamonds Ultritium Burst Pod because we know that the diamonds are pretty darn good against species 8472. And since we're not going to need to use the dilithium to research anything else, it seems perfectly fine to tech up the diamond. We're doing pretty well in dilithium here, and I'm not actually too upset. I mean, I know we're sort of 12-13 minutes into the video, so probably more like 15 to 20 minutes into the mission, and it doesn't look like we've made a lot of headway, but we've got the infrastructure, and yeah, I'm about to reduce myself to almost zero metal again, but we've got the infrastructure necessary here, and we're going to shortly have a fleet that we're going to be able to use well. If you saw that in the bottom right hand screen, you'll have seen a green flash. That means that the battleship has got its special weapon, which is the psionic insanity weapon, and it is an absolute pain in the arse, and you'll see that a lot in missions to come. It really is something that I'm happy doesn't last very long, let's put it that way, because it can cause an awful lot of damage. As you can see, my Federation ships are getting absolutely pounded here. They just can't tank the damage that Borg ships can, but it looks like I've kept them out of harm's way somewhat, so I can keep repairing them. Again, if I can keep the ships around, that's absolutely fantastic, because our goal here is to make resources, not spend them. I mean, obviously we're going to spend quite a lot, but we're certainly not looking to just go completely nuts, even though we've got a very good economy going on here.
Activate all alcoves.
Our fleet is growing quite nicely. There's Psionic Insanity again. I don't think you... Oh yeah, the Galaxy-class ship did in fact turn to fire on another ship, but I think that its weapons might have been disabled when it did that. But basically what that weapon does, I'm not sure if I've explained it already, is that it turns the crew insane. So they will fire on pretty much any random target going, and they will also kill each other on the ship. So it's a pretty nasty weapon overall. Speaking of pretty nasty weapons, I'm going to build some diamonds, and I'm also going to build the shield remodulation, because that is going to come in very, very handy when fighting species 8472. And the computer's actually not terrible at using it either, so yay for that. I'm done building infrastructure now, and I thought briefly about building some torpedo turrets there, but I don't think that they're going to be a huge amount of use. If I'm going to build ships at this point, or resource things at this point, I want to build ships. I'm building one more nexus here. This is strictly defensive.
Activate all alcoves.
This may force me to expand if I can do. You can see that there's a dilithium moon over there to the northwest, and there's also one down to the southeast. Expanding will be very, very dangerous, but I might be able to pull it off. And at the end of the day as well, if you think about it, I have a recycler, which means I get 100% return on my ship should I choose to recycle them. So if worst comes to worst and we're getting close to it, I can just recycle my entire fleet. I've got the upgrade facility now, so I'm going to do exactly that and start upgrading my ships. Just keeping my fleet on the move here. Basically what you've got to do in this mission is watch the mini-map constantly. It should be fairly simple for anyone who's a RTS player. Something you just get used to. Looks like I'm going to lose a sovereign here. Those ships are just absolutely battering it with biopulse weapons, and I don't think it's going to be able to get back before it's destroyed. Nope, it's gone.
Negotiation is irrelevant.
Yeah, have some of this. Unfortunately, one diamond doing that isn't too much. It's when you really need multiples. And I'm setting all my ships to use their special weapons by default at this point, because I'm going to need to. And get this cube repaired. Yep, just set everything to always use its special weapons coming out of this factory. And yep, repair that cube, and it's now time for some tactical cubes. And yeah, that looked like a lot I was building, but trust me, I'm going to need a lot for what I've got planned. And this is a very important upgrade, obviously, when using the Borg, because boy oh boy are they slow. So I am getting an engine upgrade. And since all my scouts from earlier were destroyed, I'm going to build a load more, because I really want to know what's going on in this sector.
Begin a sensor scan.
As you can see, tactical cubes continue to pour out, and what I'm doing here is I am hopefully not sending the Enterprise to its doom. I'm manually targeting each of these scouts, because that will mean that I am capable of finding out what's going on. If I send them out on a scouting pattern, they'll basically run if they see an 8472 ship, which isn't going to help me. This is basically a suicide mission, because I want to see what's going on everywhere on the map if I possibly can. If there are no Species 8472 bases, this means that I can safely expand. Okay, yep, more tactical cubes. Excellent, excellent. Looks like I can't see any Species 8472 activity to the northwest, so there's certainly potential there to go ahead and expand. Nothing. Am I seeing a base down there? Yeah, that looks like a base. Oh, yeah, that's a base. And it's got all their upgrade facilities as well. Just great. One thing you'll notice there is that the mother entity disappeared. Unlike a starbase wouldn't disappear at that point because it's a building. A mother entity is considered a ship, so therefore it will just disappear when you lose vision over the area. And once again, I'm upgrading engines as a priority because I need speed to be able to cover this map. And while tactical cubes and other cubes are powerful as hell, they are really, really, really slow. And now I'm taking a humongous risk, but because I have extra powerful engines, I'm going to go for it. Species 8472 are a little bit annoying for me when they have all their weapons available, so I am going to attack this base, and thereby, hopefully, I'm going to reduce the number of ships available to them, and I'm also going to destroy all their special weapons. And I think that my diamonds have just, my diamonds just obliterated their mining facilities. Not sure it was the best use of an Ultritium burst I've ever seen, but it was certainly a funny one. And yeah, I'm kind of looking around now going, where did all that energy... Oh yeah, I remember. And yeah, the Mother is just as powerful as a starbase, if not more, so that Galaxy class ship just got obliterated. And I'm trying to get my ships to concentrate on the Mother entity at this point. Nothing else really matters, but destroying that Mother entity will make my life an awful lot easier. And there it goes. And this hopefully means I won't have to deal with a load more reinforcements. I want to destroy that fluidic gate as well, because that's how Species 8472 build battleships and behemoths. And we're just making utter mincemeat out of this base, which is great news for me. It's going to make my life an awful lot easier as far as defending from attacks goes. And if I can shut off all their special weapons, which is what I'm aiming to do here, that is going to basically make this mission pretty much a walkover, because it's now a fair fight where neither of us can use our special weapons, because as I mentioned before, cube special weapons just don't work in against Species 8472. So the best thing about the Borg cube is pretty much neutered, so you just have to use them as a battleship and nothing else. It looks like I'm finally making it through here.
We have entered a dangerous nebula.
Oh, get out of it then. And there goes another special weapons port. Boy oh boy, this is pretty much endless. Although, as you can see, I've only lost 3 ships so far, which is pretty incredible given the amount of fighting I've had to do. Destroy a passive embryo there before it builds anything.
We will adapt.
We haven't seen much of Species 8472's psionic weapon in this mission. Just wait till the next one, you'll see some quite funny stuff. But just trust me for the moment that that is not a weapon you want to have to face. This pod contains a special weapon for the Behemoth. It's the Biogenesis core, so we'll get rid of that, even though the Behemoth special weapons are nowhere near as annoying as the battleships, at least at the moment. The AI doesn't seem to use them that much, although they are certainly annoying. And it looks like after a pretty ferocious battle, I have managed to survive. And I was thinking, wow, my fleet did well. Yeah, it was only because I was building reinforcements all the time. And that's why it looks like I only lost 3 ships. I didn't. I lost a lot more than 3 ships, but because I was building reinforcements to reinforce Group 1 constantly looked like it was high on ships. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead now, and I'm actually going to expand to Species 8472's old base, which is, I believe, called Rubbing It In. But just having a little bit of a think about what to do there, and this is a mistake. I went for life support because of what the Species 8472 ship's psionic insanity beam does. They don't have a psionic insanity beam anymore, so there's absolutely no point in researching that. I should have just gone straight for weapons and shields at this point. There's no point trying to be fancy and going for anything else. Sensors might be a good idea to give me a bit more advanced warning on any attacks, but at this point, if all they've got is what's coming through the gate, then I'm going to be okay.
Confirmed.
Well, what's coming through the gate with no special weapons, I'm going to be perfectly okay at this point. That is the only 8472 base in the area, I believe, so I think that that's going to work really well for us. They didn't mine that much out of here, so we're going to be able to get another mining facility here, and there is a planet there as well, so we're going to be able to mine metal from it.
Unassimilated species engaged.
It looks like I'm going to limp my Federation ship all the way across there. I think building a resource node is probably more optimal, but you know me and being a little bit cruel to my ships, so yeah, as you can see, like literally every ship I lost has been replaced by a tactical cube, so that's a pretty big advantage. And yeah, I'm going to build a resource processing node here. There's no point in going for
We will comply.
no point in going for a Federation one when I've got an assembler already here. The only thing I will have to do is limp a couple of dilithium freighters over here, because it's going to take... I don't really want to have to build a Nexus or anything. We are running a little low on those moons, but I think we're going to make it quite easily. And since... oh, you are... Here's a trick you might not know.
Unassimilated species engaged.
If you can see it and the Nexus can't, you can still tell the Nexus to fire on it as long as it's in range. Another advantage to getting really good sensors, because the Nexus would have seen that if you'd have had advanced sensors. And yep, couple of mining freighters which will allow me to mine that dilithium moon. Excellent. And here is cheeky attempt number 1 at trying to mine this. I'm going to call it the Northwest Passage. I mean, that went fine in Scorpion, didn't it?
Initiating station construction.
If you get that reference, congratulations. That's a lot of freighters I'm building. I don't know why I'm building that many. Oh, I suppose the planet needs extra miners as well. And as you can see, my resources are going up really, really quickly now, so this is great. I'm going to be in a position to finish the level quite quickly. Species 8472 are still showing up, but speaking of showing up, look at the northwest area. Yeah. Oh, that wasn't really very nice of them. Like, one random Species 8472 ship somehow found its way up there. Well, that's unfortunate. And yeah, my ships that I built to mine there, you can go do something else. I'm now also upgrading level 3 weapons, so do well. But this is a favourite tactic for Species 8472. Let's hide in this nebula. No, let's kill you while you're in this nebula. How do you like this? Yeah, that's not going to work. But as you can see, it's taking a heck of a beating from my Nexus. It took 5 full volleys. And yet, I can see you, so you die. So, if you don't know that trick, you do now. 15,000 dilithium, we're almost getting there. However, we have mined out this moon now, so we're beginning to get a little bit short, but we're going to be fine.
The last of the dilithium from this rock. Fire up the engines.
We can just recycle a lot of our stuff, and we'll get a lot more minerals to go. And the fact that we've got an almost full moon down here, along with 3 metal planets, which means we can transmute, means we're not going to be in too much trouble when it comes to trying to get hold of all our resources.
Picard, the strength of Species 8472 is increasing. We must make our assault promptly.
We are almost finished gathering resources. In the meantime, I would like to send a fleet of reconnaissance vessels into the rift to gather information from within.
Very well. Move quickly.
I am uneasy with the thought of blindly venturing into fluidic space, and justly so. It is an alien realm unlike anything we have encountered before. Data collected from the logs of the USS Voyager confirm that our shields can withstand the preternatural environment, and I have therefore ordered the construction of Venture-class scout ships to perform reconnaissance of the area beyond the rift. The Federation shipyard at Everon Prime stands by, ready to begin construction.
Yeah, so they've just added a small secondary objective here that we have to get 5 scout ships into the rift. The way you do it is that you build 15 and throw them all at the rift, and Species 8472 can't deal with them all. Like so.
Starship construction commencing.
No room for sentimentality here. I'm trying to figure out which one of these is my Nexus, and I can't figure it out from the screen. But yeah, these things have humongous range, as you can see here. And if you can get your star bases to... That is enormous, that range. If you can get your star bases to fight at maximum range, then Species 8472 are really, really in trouble. And oh, they're coming pouring through the rift there. So it's almost time to shut up shop, guys.
Decommission commencing.
Looks like that metal... sorry, that dilithium is mined out as well. But as you can see, we're almost there. We're only 1,000 off. So I'm not really worrying about dilithium here. I think I might get some back off the freighters, mind you, and I'll certainly get metal off the dilithium refinery. So, doing perfectly fine. And in fact, we're just about to hit our. We're just about to hit here. But as you can see, I've built an absolute shed load of Venture class ships. So, I'm afraid that you guys are going to head into the rift.
Just tell me where to go.
Yeah, that's enough. Off you go. Yeah, just ignore them. They're not going to do anything. Apart from maybe kill some of you. I don't know.
Enemy engaged.
Just tell me where to go.
Yeah, the speed of my metal mining is humongous at the moment. It's great. And we're just about to hit the dilithium.
We have gathered a sufficient amount of dilithium for the upcoming operation.
The upcoming operation? You mean the invasion of another species realm? Okay, I kid. Species 8472 started it.
Station is under attack.
Anyway, here's the rift, and we're going to send as many ships through it as we can. Easy enough.
The scouts have entered the rift.
Okay, that wasn't very difficult, was it? We can get rid of all these ventures if we want to. We can recycle them all, but I'm going to have them fight, because all it is now is just a complete defense mission on that star base up at the top. So my fleet is now going to move back up there. We're almost there as far as metal goes, so it's simply a case of stopping whatever Species 8472 are trying to do. This area, if necessary, can just be recycled, and we'll get there on oh, great. I see bad things. Okay, recycle time and hope that we get enough resources back.
Station designated for disassembly. Vessel designated for disassembly.
And we might do, actually. Yep, we've got the resource node back, and whoa, one of my neck sides is getting pounded. It looks like it's going to be okay. Yep, here comes the fleet.
Remodulate shields.
Just in case bad things are going to happen, and we're only a few spots away from the metal threshold now, so I will say thank you very much for watching, and see you next time for the adventure into fluid dig space and the final mission. See you next time.
Captain, we have gathered all the resources needed for the upcoming operation.
Hail the Borg Queen's vessel.
The channel is open, Captain.
This is the Enterprise. 2 of our scouts have returned from fluidic space. The rest were lost. I'm transferring the reconnaissance data they collected to your vessel.
Picard, you have successfully gathered the resources you require. You and your forces will now join the Borg in the attack on Species 8472. There will be no further delay.
Acknowledged. I will prepare my ships for an assault. Picard out. Captain's log, stardate 54881.2. This uneasy alliance with the Borg is a necessary evil, and perhaps our only hope of closing the dimensional rift and stopping Species 8472. I have no doubt that the Borg will attempt to take advantage of our alliance if the opportunity presents itself, so we must proceed with the utmost caution. As of now, our only option is to forge ahead through the rift and engage an enemy unlike any other we have fought before.